Have you ever felt, genuinely stuck, maybe trying to learn something new or tackle a big challenge, and you just think, this isn't really my thing? That little voice can be so limiting. But what if? What if the way you think about the challenge itself could completely change the outcome? Today, we're doing a deep dive into cultivating a growth mindset. And our mission here isn't just to define it. We want to pull out the really key insights from our sources, the stuff that shows how this way of thinking can actually transform your learning, your work, your whole approach to, life.
Yeah, and at its heart, it's really this belief, this conviction that your skills, your intelligence, they aren't set in stone. They can genuinely grow and develop with effort, with practice. It's the opposite of that fixed idea, that you're just born with a certain amount of talent, and that's it.
Right, that you either have it or you don't kind of thinking.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is this isn't just like positive thinking. It taps into how our brains actually work, that idea of neuroplasticity.
Okay, that takes it up a notch. So let's dig into that difference then. Fixed versus growth. What's really going on there psychologically?
Well, with a fixed mindset, because you believe abilities are fixed, you tend to want to prove you have them. So challenges look risky. Failure feels like a final verdict on your ability. So people often avoid them or give up easily when things get tough.
Because it confirms their fear, right? That they just don't have it.
Precisely. But with a growth mindset, the script flips. Challenges aren't threats. They're, opportunities. Opportunities to learn, to stretch, for your brain to literally build new connections. Effort isn't just struggling. It's the process of getting smarter, of developing the skill. So there's more willingness to engage, to persist.
That makes sense. And we have a great example from the source material, Sarah, and her fear of public speaking. She worked in this office, quite demanding, and for ages just dreaded presentations. Really believed, I'm not a natural speaker. Avoided it completely.
A classic fixed mindset trap.
Totally. Then her manager asks her to lead this big client meeting, high stakes, panic sets in. But here's the shift. Instead of just freezing, she pauses. She actually thinks, okay, what if I could get better at this? What if it's learnable?
The crucial question.
Exactly. So she starts small, 15 minutes a day, watching videos, practicing, even recording herself. And yeah, she stumbled, felt awkward.
Of course, learning is messy.
But she reframed it. Those weren't failures. They were just feedback, data points. And within weeks, her confidence grew, her talks got better, clearer. She even got praise from her manager. It wasn't her innate ability that changed first. It was her belief about it.
That's such a powerful illustration. Sarah's story really shows how changing that core belief system, moving from fixed to growth, it doesn't just change how you feel, it primes you for actual learning and improvement. It's like giving your brain permission to grow.
Right. And that brings us to maybe the most counterintuitive part. Mistakes. We're so conditioned to fear them, avoid them. But the sources we looked at, they're really clear. Mistakes aren't just okay in a growth mindset. They're actually essential.
They're absolutely essential. It turns our usual thinking on its head, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
See, from a brain science perspective, when you make a mistake, your brain flags it. It notices a mismatch between expectation and reality, like a little alarm bell. And that actually triggers heightened attention and activity. It's the brain saying, whoa, pay attention. Something here needs adjustment. It's a prime moment for learning.
So a mistake isn't a dead end. It's actually a signpost saying, learn here.
Exactly. It points directly to where the growth needs to happen.
Yeah.
It's not failure. It's just information, really valuable information.
We see this with Thomas, the engineer in our sources. English wasn't his first language. And writing these complex technical reports, really tough. His first drafts came back covered in red ink. Grammar, clarity issues, the works.
That could easily trigger a fixed mindset, right? Or just bad at English writing.
For sure. But Thomas took a different approach. He saw those red marks not as judgment, but as specific feedback, like, okay, this is what I need to work on. So he started focusing, spent 20 minutes each morning on grammar exercises, targeting those specific errors, looked at good examples, asked a colleague for feedback.
He engaged with the errors.
Precisely. His internal talk shifted from, I can't, to, how do I fix this type of mistake? And over time, his reports got way better. So much so, he ended up helping a new teammate.
That fear turned into actual competence.
It's a perfect example. It wasn't about avoiding mistakes. It was about analyzing them, learning from them. His inner voice changed from critic to coach. That's the growth mindset in action.
So, okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do you, listening right now, actually start building this mindset? What are the practical steps?
Yeah, that's key. And it's important to remember this isn't something you're just born with. It's a skill. It's cultivated deliberately through small, consistent choices every day.
Like building a muscle.
Exactly like building a muscle. And one of the simplest tools our sources mention is, well, it's just one little word, yet.
Ah, the power of yet. It's tiny, but transformative.
Yep.
Think about it. If you catch yourself saying, I can't do this, or I don't understand this, to just tack on yet.
Mhm.
I can't do this yet. I don't understand this. Instantly, it reframes the situation. It acknowledges where you are now, but points towards future possibility. It breaks that fixed finality.
It implies a journey, not a destination.
Precisely.
And flowing from that, another big theme is focusing on progress, not perfection. Getting away from that all or nothing thinking.
Oh, absolutely. Aiming for perfection right out of the gate. That's often a recipe for paralysis, especially with something complex. So instead of say, I need to be fluent in this language now,
Right.
which feels huge and maybe impossible,
Right.
the growth mindset encourages something like, I want to get a little better each week, or I'll focus on understanding this one concept today. It's about those small incremental steps. They build momentum, they build confidence, and they actually strengthen those neural pathways more effectively than some heroic, unsustainable burst of effort.
Yeah, like Rachel's story, the busy mom who felt learning English was just too late, too much. Fluency seemed impossible, but she shifted her focus. She committed to just 15 minutes a day, podcasts on her commute, reading articles during nap time, small, consistent actions.
Manageable chunks.
Exactly. And after just 3 months, she was genuinely surprised by how much her vocabulary and understanding had grown. She wasn't fluent, no, but the progress was undeniable, and that fueled her belief that she could keep learning.
That's it. The progress itself becomes the motivator.
Which leads right into the need for consistency and patience. This stuff doesn't happen overnight. It's a marathon, right?
Absolutely a marathon. It's those daily steps, even the tiny ones that feel insignificant sometimes. That's where the real change happens. Every time you practice, every time you engage, you are literally reinforcing connections in your brain, making them stronger, faster. It's biological. It's the physical process of getting better.
And we saw this with James at the auto repair shop. Remember him? Terrified of the new digital diagnostic tool.
Yeah, I'm not a computer person guy.
Right. Total fixed mindset initially, avoided it, tried to pass it off, until his boss basically said, learn it, or else.
Sometimes a little external pressure helps.
It was the turning point. He consciously shifted. Okay, this is hard, but maybe I can figure it out. So he stayed 30 minutes late each day, just clicking buttons, making mistakes, getting error messages, but crucially, persisting, asking, what does this do? What if I try this?
Consistent engagement, not immediate mastery.
Exactly. And slowly it went from terrifying to familiar to actually him becoming the expert in the shop, training others on it. That sustained patient effort completely transformed his skill and his confidence.
It's a fantastic example of persistence paying off.
Okay. And the last big piece seems to be about support. Not going it alone and also managing that inner voice.
Hugely important. We're social creatures. Learning doesn't happen in a vacuum. Having encouragement, whether it's from a friend, a teacher, a community, it reinforces your own belief. And that's self-talk. It's like your internal coach. Is it telling you, you got this, keep going, or is it tearing you down?
That inner critic can be brutal.
It really can. But you can train it, just like you train a skill.
Like Michael, who was so frustrated with his work emails in English, his self-talk was really negative. But his wife, Susan, kept offering that gentle, growth-focused encouragement. Nobody's perfect. Just learn a little every day.
That external voice can help reshape the internal one.
It did for him. He started small, one new phrase a day, asking for reviews. And slowly, his confidence and his writing improved. Or think about Olivia at the bank, initially terrified by fast-talking clients, freezing up.
That can easily lead to avoidance.
And it almost did. But after one really bad encounter, she made a different choice. Instead of retreating, she bravely, in the moment, asked the client to speak more slowly. Then she took notes, looked up words later, practiced phrases. She turned that challenging interaction into an active learning opportunity.
That takes courage and a real shift in mindset, believing she could handle it even if it was hard.
Yeah. That belief gave her the power to act differently, and that action led to improvement. So, stepping back, what's the bigger picture here? This isn't just about learning English or using a new tool, is it?
Not at all. This is a fundamental approach to, well, everything. building relationships, solving problems at home or work, picking up a new hobby, dealing with setbacks. It's about understanding that your brain is designed to grow and adapt. That concept of neuroplasticity means you're not fixed. Effort literally changes your brain. Embracing a growth mindset means you're working with your brain's natural potential, not against it.
So you can actually get smarter, more capable throughout life.
Absolutely. With intentional effort, yes.
Like Alex, the manager in our sources, he started out thinking leaders are just born that way, fixed mindset. Right?
Classic example.
But after learning about the growth mindset, he started seeing leadership as skills he could develop. Active listening, seeking feedback, learning about different approaches. He didn't become perfect overnight, but by practicing consistently, believing he could improve, he became a much better, more respected leader.
He treated leadership like any other learnable skill.
Okay, so let's bring this home for everyone listening. How can you start putting this into action, like today?
Right. Let's make it concrete. Think about one area right now, just one place where you feel a bit stuck or where you really want to improve. Got it.
Huh.
Okay, now think about applying these ideas. Remember, every little shift counts.
First step, notice your thoughts, that inner chatter. Is it saying I can't or I haven't figured this out yet? Just becoming aware is huge. You can actually train that voice to be more supportive, more growth-oriented.
It's like noticing the default setting and then choosing a different one.
Exactly. Second, break it down. Big goals are intimidating. Make them tiny. Learn 5 new words. Practice for 10 minutes. Seriously small. And then celebrate those tiny wins. That builds momentum.
Yeah, don't wait for the giant leap. Acknowledge the small steps.
Third, reframe those mistakes. When you mess up and you don't get stuck on the feeling of failure, ask, okay, what's the lesson here? What data did this mistake give me? Shift from feeling bad to feeling curious.
Curiosity is such a powerful antidote to shame.
Fourth, ask for help. Seriously, don't feel like you have to tough it out alone. Talk to someone, find a group, ask questions. Support makes a huge difference.
Connection fuels growth.
Fifth, track your progress somehow, even just a note in your phone once a week. This week I learned X or I tried Y. Seeing it written down makes the progress feel real, especially when it feels slow day to day.
It combats that feeling of, am I even getting anywhere?
And finally, maybe start your day with a tiny intention. Today I'll learn one new thing, or today I'll face that challenge with curiosity. Just setting that tone can prime your brain because ultimately this growth mindset, it's not magic. It's a skill. You build it choice by choice, effort by effort, day by day.
It really is. And maybe the most provocative thought to leave you with is this, that mindset. It's the key that unlocks potential you might not even realize you have. It gives you the courage to face down challenges, turns difficult tasks into, believe it or not, enjoyable learning puzzles. It changes how you see yourself, how you see problems. It teaches you that every single challenge is a chance to learn, to adapt, to literally change your mind. And by doing that, step by intentional step, you really can change your life.